shall see, my friend. I only give people what they have coming to them.
Where's your uniform, young Hopkins? Run along now, child.
Okay, let me hope this stays continuously working.
After a while, crocodile.
How do I minimize this? I'm not even sure how to do that. There we go. Okay, that's better. Okay, so let's start from the very beginning. The Los Angeles Lakers got swept by the Oklahoma City Thunder. There's just no doubt about that. Now, I believe that the Los Angeles crowd played a crucial role in the fourth and final game of the series against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think the entrance price was $90, which was the lowest of any playoff series in years. And yeah, you would have assumed that they would have gotten one game, sent it to 5. But they weren't able to. They just weren't able to. I think that LeBron going out in 4 games, I don't think it affects him at all. I think his performance was I think it was fine. I think he performed exactly how he was expected to. I don't think he could have done anything more to change the series, because say what you will about the refs or the flopping, the Lakers still led I think they led the league in free throw disparity against their teammates. So I think it all stems from when Jason Tatum did that smack against LeBron, when he smacked his arm on the layup, and they didn't call it, and it ended up going into overtime. Oh my gosh. This is the PC version, by the way, if anyone's wondering. But yeah, the Lakers went out in 4 games. It's not sad. Luka was injured. He's preserving himself for the following season. I don't think LeBron should retire. I think the role that he played throughout the season really helped him realize that he can take a step back when Luka is available. Luka's not going to play for Team Slovenia this summer. He's going to focus entirely on his health, so he's very strong and ready to play for the full 82 games of the following NBA season. Things are looking up. I think I'm not saying that they can go ahead and just win it next year. I think due to every other team that's emerging in the West and that's being built slowly in the East, if you're paying attention to the draft, Wizards getting the number 1 pick. They have another number 1 pick in Anthony Davis, Jordan Poole.
Listen to me, tough guy. You just arrived at the toughest school in the country, and I'm offering to be your friend.
So let's look at the game. So I think at the biggest story of the game is JJ Redick taking out Rui Hachimura, who had the best 3-point percentage of any playoff performer. Oh, I have so much money. Go to your room and change into your uniform. Alright. Yeah, so JJ Redick takes out Rui Hachimura. He was 4 for 8 from 3. But he decides to take him out during the last possession. And what I really want to get across is that Rui Hachimura, when he was new to the Lakers, he has a really big problem with the lights being too bright, to quote Jarrett Allen from the Cavaliers. Rui Hachimura does not do good under pressure, and he does not do good with negative, with constructive criticism. He's always talking about how he's learning so much from LeBron. You can see that he imitates him so much in the way he finishes. His finishing is very reminiscent of LeBron's movements, but he's kind of just like, being somewhat more static with it. But JJ Redick takes him out at the end of the game. Be that as it may, the Lakers would still need to have combated another 3 more games. And it was so grueling to watch this last 4th game because the Lakers, they played exactly how they've played these past 4 games. They've played exactly the same. They played great. But I think they're missing the fact that OKC, they figured out basketball. This is the new generation. This is the Warriors on steroids. This team would dominate the Warriors. Dominate. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander would dominate Steph Curry's Kevin Durant Warriors. You're going to allow what was I going to say? I needed to save the game. I wasn't sure what I was doing. Oh. This is your school. Cool.
This school is for morons.
Okay, so what does OKC really capitalize on? I'm talking about giving LeBron. Before I get to OKC, giving LeBron his flowers. So like I said, Luka's gonna sit out. He's not gonna play for Team Slovenia. He's gonna focus on himself for the Lakers, and it's going to be great. I don't think LeBron should retire. I think he played great this entire season. I think he was the most valuable player of the Lakers. I don't think Luka this entire season had ever convinced me that he was a much better, player. I think Luka's still developing. I think that this is an important part of his journey to become the next franchise holder. He can't be Magic Johnson just yet. LeBron is still on the team.
Hey, Jim, that is so cool. You want this to get serious? And you'll never guess what. Of course, I always get the highest grades at homework. You'll always be stupid, Okay, so you thank God, really, Now I'm going to beat you really hard. You sorry now? You look really stupid. I will avenge you. You're an idiot, you know that?
Let's get out of here before I get in trouble.
That's Russell's luck. The big ape who almost put you in the hospital.
Yeah, so LeBron has no reason.
Oh, please. Time to pay your Russell tax.
Hell no, I'm not paying you. I'm not paying you, bro.
Come on, don't be a bully.
Puny ant! You don't know what pain is! Next time you get more doofus!
Dude, how much did he take?
Come on, let's break into it and steal something. That'll teach you. Careful around the prefects. They don't have much of a sense of humor.
Okay, that was very interesting. Yeah, so LeBron doesn't need to retire. Okay, now let's move on to just respecting OKC in hindsight. What I mean by that is their growth from, when they originally traded the Clippers for their picks and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they knew what they were building. You look into the history of Shai, they knew what they were building. They knew what type of player he was. He's an international guard. A lot of people are really missing the fact that these international guards are coming to take over. The international players are taking over the National Basketball Association.
Hey,
Let me follow this guy real quick. Yeah, so I mean, what is OKC really doing to be the best team? They're very good at capitalizing on turnovers. So I recently watched an opinion from Andrew Feinickel, and he was explaining that OKC's strong dominance comes from their turnover rate, and their strong their well, hold on, I gotta be nice to her. I got you.
Scary. I wonder what everyone is talking about.
Useless sissy.
Oh my. Whoops. Oopsie, whoops. I have no idea what just happened. What's going on here? Did this end? Hasn't ended yet. It hasn't ended yet. It hasn't ended yet. What is going on? Is it still streaming? Okay. There we go. Did I fix it? Okay, I fixed it. Now I just have to wait for it to load. Yeah, it's working. Okay. So I don't watch basketball, so I don't know what you're talking about. Nah, the game crashed. No, it should be. It's working for me. Just refresh. Refresh. Let's play a different game since that one just bugged out on us. What game should I play? Play something simple for a minute. Yeah, so OKC's really been capitalizing on turnovers, and those turnovers are basically worth an extra 3 or 2 points. It's kind of like when LeBron explained if you're down 6 or something, or how to be up 6 by fouling when you score a 2, or you're going for a 2, you want to get fouled, so you get 4, but then 4 turns into 6 on a missed basket, or you want to be up 5 basically, so it's two possessions. That's basically how OKC is dominating all these teams. They're just utilizing turnovers. And to speak on Wemby's suspension and his strike against Naz Reid, I don't think it's really good for the NBA that they suspended him. I'm not saying it wasn't warranted. He did elbow him in the face, but like they say, pain is weakness leaving the body, and Naz Reid seemed to be fine. He didn't really seem to be affected. If anything, he seemed relieved that Wemby was going to miss the next game. He seemed relieved in the post fight interview. I'm just gonna upgrade my health. Yeah, I think it's bad for basketball that Wemby sits out. You know, I think this level of physicality that the playoffs has brung is exactly what the public wanted. Is exactly what the public has been asking for. I don't know if anybody's been watching the extra camera angles that the NBA has put out or any courtside videos, but I highly encourage you go search for them because it truly shows the hand checking is still in full effect in 2026, especially if you're watching the Spurs or Timberwolves. Those small guards, it's very tricky because the Spurs can play small ball with two twin towers. They have Luke Cornett and Wembenyama. So they can substitute those non-Wemby Wimmets with Cornett, who's a very effective center. You could even put him at the 4. He's extremely versatile. And then we have the Spurs who have this very young kinetic synergy that they just seem to power each other and just bounce off one another. Whereas OKC has a system. They play together as they're also a team. They play together as a team, but they follow the system. The Spurs, they still just lend the ball to one another. They're very nice to one another. They're sometimes they forget to move the ball around. Sometimes it gets stuck in just one player's hand. However, every player is so dominant and is so confident in this playoff and has risen for as young as they are. Especially if we look at someone like Bryant or Harper. Harper has really stepped up. He just showed out. He showed out extremely well. It's not just Wemby on this team anymore. It's not just Wemby. There's other assets that the Spurs have that are making them such a deep team in such an early stage of development. This team still has many years to grow. I don't think they should change anything for years to come. I think this is exactly what you need. Now, if we move over to the East, let's give a big shout out to one of my favorite players, Donovan Mitchell. He tied a franchise record, I think an NBA record, for most second half points in a playoff game. I think he had 38 or 39, and he missed the free throw to have to beat the record. So shout out to him. But man, how tough are the Pistons? How tough are the Cavs? The East, they're just striking me as kind of bums this year. The East, everyone says the East was weak when LeBron played him, but the East is just weak because they're weak. The West has their flaws too. How is a man still able to transfer conferences? I don't know how I brought this back to LeBron, but I'm just using him as an example. Uh, Before I move on from the West, I just want to give a shout out to Jaden McDaniels also. I want to give a shout out to Rudy Gobert for his defense for disrupting Jokic and eliminating them, the Nuggets, from the playoff. I didn't get to mention that. I think previously that wasn't something that I had talked about. It hadn't occurred yet. The series hadn't finished the last time I made a video. However, moving forward, 76ers, I'm not sure. I really think that I think the Knicks, obviously, they're one of the greatest teams. But when I say I'm not sure about the 76ers, I'm referring to the fact that I had already said that VJ Edgecombe was the 76ers. I never really attributed anything to the process in Joel Embiid or, of course, the former Ben Simmons. VJ Edgecombe has really been the fire that's ignited this 76ers team to make even such a deep playoff run. However, the Knicks, man, New York just has some different type of energy. You can't replicate it. You can't mimic it. You just can't change what you don't have. You can't have what you don't have. And no other city has that. They have just this energy, this fire. Jalen Brunson, what a dog. The Bodega, somewhat disappointing this playoffs, this entire playoffs, but at the same time, he's playing a crucial role. I think the Knicks are very selfless in the fact that I think they're very selfless, but I think they're very dependent on Jalen Brunson. I think the fact that Jalen Brunson, is giving so many fans hope that he could, that they could win. I'm not saying they can't. I'm not saying they can't. Who knows what's gonna happen? I'm just, stating the fact that last time Jalen Brunson made it so far, once they, just had a schemed defense, which again is recency bias. Due to recency bias, a lot of people seem to forget these things. Same with Rui Hachimura not being very good with constructive criticism or negative criticism from fans or haters, or even his own team and staff and coaching. Very similar to DeAndre Ayton, which I think the attitude thing from DeAndre Ayton is just a hoax. I think it's to discredit his brand. I think he's a fine basketball player. I don't think he's all that great in that sense, but I think he's a fine basketball player for the Lakers. He plays his role well, especially this playoffs. He had risen a little late, in my opinion. He could have done a little bit more, but so could have everyone else. Luka, the best ability is availability. So this is all just leading to next year for the Lakers. Like I said, it's not a poor performance for them. This is just building for the next year. Definitely one more year for LeBron, one more crack at it, and then after that we'll see. But from the East, I still believe in the Cavs. I would really like to see the Cavs. I would have really liked to see the Cavs versus the Lakers. Obviously, LeBron versus his former team in the finals. I really thought that could have been possible had the Lakers gotten past OKC. I don't really have a favorite team. I'm just a player. I just do. I like the analysis of the game. I like just seeing how it all breaks down. But I don't know if I have a clear winner other than OKC or Spurs for this NBA Finals. No one is really giving me any reason to pick them. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So I'm just gonna play a couple games, leave that out, and yeah, look at this guy. Think you got me, boy? Bop, bop.